The first time he told me he loved me, I had a forkful of salmon halfway to my mouth and a sick feeling in my gut. It was one of those dim, overpriced restaurants where secrets seemed easier to keep, until they weren't. I remember his hands shaking, his voice almost a whisper over the clink of wine glasses, and I felt the old ache in my chest because I wanted to believe him. I almost did, until I saw her, pregnant, glowing, and strutting towards us like she owned the place. She slid into our booth, right beside him, her hand casually resting on his thigh as if I weren't even there. "Hope you don't mind, babe," she said, flashing a smile that was all teeth. He froze, eyes darting between us, and my world split wide open. She'd known where to find us, knew exactly what she was doing, and so did he. I realized then that every late night at work was another night with her, and suddenly the timeline he had given me for their breakup didn't add up. I wanted to scream, to throw my wine in his face, but instead I just sat there, numb, while they talked about baby names as if I were invisible. She kept dropping little bombs, reminders of their inside jokes, the apartment they still shared, how he'd set up the crib last weekend. He flinched every time she mentioned the future, and I could tell he was trapped, just like I was. The worst part wasn't the betrayal, it was the realization that I'd let myself ignore all the red flags because I was addicted to the drama, to the way he made me feel wanted in the shadows. When she finally excused herself to the restroom, he reached for my hand, desperate, pleading. "I need you," he whispered, but all I could see was my own reflection in the wine glass, lonely, furious, and complicit. I stood up, left enough cash to cover my meal, and told him I hoped he'd figure out what he wanted before the baby arrived. As I walked out, I knew the real secret wasn't his cheating, it was that I'd known all along, and stayed anyway, because I couldn't stand being alone.